bought our Tesla Model Y in September of 2020. And now looking back on it, I wanted to touch on some things that I just absolutely love about the vehicle. Some experiences we've had with it, service center repairs, that sort of thing. Navigation, long drives, a couple things I wish were a little bit different, and then just kind of overall opinion on it. So sit back, relax. You're watching the Tall Tesla Guy. So like I said, we bought the car in September. We have right at 5,500 miles, so a little over 5,000 miles, but we've had the opportunity to take it on a little bit of a road trip. And then, so we got to try out the navigation, we got to try out the Supercharger network, test the range of the battery, and I'll put a link in there to that video just in case you haven't seen it yet. But I wanted to kind of give my overall impressions of it. So we are a family of 3 with a big, large golden retriever dog, so it's a fantastic, I would even go so far as to say the best family car that you can buy. Obviously, it's an electric vehicle. You're saving on gas, quite a bit of money on gas anyway. And then it's a fun to drive vehicle, which is really more for me or my wife being the ones that are driving it. But it's got so much space, right? So it's so much space in there for the baby. And we have a toddler, but she's still in a rear-facing car seat, so that takes up room. She's got her books, her toys, snacks, all that sort of stuff. That takes up room. And with all the side compartments, with the storage space, there's 6 inches of space under each front seat. There's the space in the front. There's the 2 sub-trunks in the back. There's 68 square feet or cubic feet of cargo space with the seats folded down in the back, and then 2 side cubbies. Very next on my list, being at 6'5", having leg room in it, having, seat comfort on those long drives so you don't get those pinch points that make your legs fall asleep, that sort of thing. And then, for my passengers, my wife, when she's riding next to me, she has plenty of leg room. Then, of course, our baby in the back, plenty of room for her seat. And then for all of her stuff on the sides, we could have passengers on either side of them, and they would be comfortable as well. So the comfort of the inside of the vehicle was almost the top of the list for me. I wanted to make sure I fit in the beginning anyway, which I do. And then I wanted to be comfortable on those long rides. We go on long road trips often, and I wanted to make sure that we'd arrive relaxed and refreshed. And then on top of that, you've got that panoramic glass roof. I talk about it in nearly every video because it amazes me every time I get in there. It's a heavily tinted window, so it doesn't let a lot of the heat in from the sun or anything like that, but it gives you this view almost like you're in a convertible, which is fantastic. My baby loves it, and we like just kind of the feel of, like I said, being in a convertible. It's just really nice. And then, just coming out of winter, so this is kind of neck and neck with the comfort of the seats, the convenience of the climate control in the car, how you can set a departure time in the morning so the car is actually warmed up before we get out and get going. You can have it defrost the windows, warm the cabin, do all that stuff that you need to do if you park a car outside or if it's in your garage and it's cold in those cold winter days. And then on top of that, when you're getting ready to leave for a trip, you just turn on the climate 10-15 minutes before. The cabin's going to be warm, your seat heaters are going to be on, it's going to be toasty and ready to go. Really enjoy that part of it. So those features of the vehicle, the technology, it's just really nice, and it just kind of adds to the overall experience. So piggybacking on that technology, the vehicle is so much fun to drive. That acceleration that you get just from pushing down on the accelerator, the one pedal driving, the regen braking, it kind of adds to it, adds to the technology of the vehicle and just kind of the overall enjoyment. Autopilot is fantastic. Full self-driving, once it finally does arrive, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. But it's just a fun vehicle to drive. In fact, when I go back to my gas vehicle, I kind of miss being in my Tesla just because it's just that much more fun to drive. It's just a real kind of spark of enjoyment when you do sit behind that driver's seat and kind of take off. And then you get over-the-air updates, which is a huge thing. I know that's not exclusive to Tesla. Other vehicles do actually have over-the-air updates. Everything from kind of adding range that they did a few months ago, better efficiency of the battery, putting games and entertainment stuff in there, changing the way the screen looks, the navigation, autopilot, full self-driving, everything is all over their updates. You don't have to go to the service center unless something's wrong, which is kind of nice. It's just neat that it's automatically there. It's almost like opening a present. In fact, Elon's been teasing us about this brand new version 11 update that's supposed to have been coming for the past few months. It's going to redesign the way the screen looks and change some more things around, all that sort of stuff. So that kind of stuff is coming down the road, and it's almost like something to look forward to, something to be excited about, which is kind of nice. Being that Tesla was kind of like a technology company that created a car, I guess if you kind of think of it like that, well, one of the things that they did with really kind of investing in their charging network, right? Their superchargers. Now they're all across the country, thousands of them across the country. Basically anywhere you want to drive, of course, all along all the major highways, all the major roads within the cities. You know, we have 3 stations within the city that I live in. And then when we did a range test, there was one halfway to where we wanted to go, which was kind of nice. It's a nice feeling to know that you have opportunities to charge, maybe not as frequently as gas stations, but you have opportunities to charge to keep the car charged up. On top of that, the navigation within the vehicle will actually tell you where the superchargers are, tell you the version of supercharger being a V2 or V3, so how quickly you're going to be able to charge and get out of there, how long you need to stay there. If you're navigating with it, it'll tell you, you'll get there with 22% battery, charge it up to 60, get to the next one, and so forth. That part's kind of nice too. So it kind of estimates all that stuff for you. So it takes the guesswork out of it, which is really neat. So you can kind of focus on your drive. You can focus on what you're doing instead of worrying about the charge. I mean, it takes about 20-25 minutes to charge up at a supercharger if you're pretty low and you want to get pretty high again. It's one of those things that you can kind of decompress. You can get out, stretch your legs. Now we have a toddler now too, so there's no way she's going to sit for a 10-hour long road trip, with a 10-minute stop at a gas station. She's just not going to want to do that. She's going to want to get out, move around a little bit, get a snack. You can get some food, that kind of thing. They put superchargers in a lot of convenient locations that have, food and shopping and coffee and stuff like that. A lot of people will go to a supercharger, go grab a coffee, come back to the car, sit there and watch Netflix on the infotainment screen, watch Hulu, watch YouTube videos like this, that sort of thing. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to do while you wait, but it is kind of nice to to decompress just a little bit, to pull yourself down a little bit, and certainly stretch those legs. Like I told you, I'm 6'5". I mean, I have more than enough room in there, but you can never have, it's hard to substitute standing up and actually moving your feet around, all that kind of stuff. Get that blood flowing again. So, super important and super nice that it's there. And I like that the charging networks are there. So it is nice that you can go in there as quick as possible, stretch out, eat some food, and get back on the road and get on your trip. They almost had some forethought when they were thinking ahead anyway, what Tesla was when they created this network, because they knew that they were going to be expanding. They're not just in the United States, they're in Canada, Europe, China. In fact, the largest supercharger station in Shanghai, China has 72 stalls. Now it's only a V2, so they've actually created what is considered the largest fast charging station, I guess. Santa Monica, it's going to have 64 stalls, but it's a V3. They're all going to be V3. And there's also going to be like a loungy area in there with, vending machines, coffee, TVs, that kind of stuff. So, when you find charging superchargers that are not near nice stuff, I mean, I think this is going to be the trend that Tesla's going to do moving forward. Maybe not produce 64 stall superchargers, but they're going to have superchargers with stuff to do that are there, almost like a rest stop on the highway where you can get maps and have picnic tables and eat and have like vending machines and stuff like that. So I wouldn't surprise me if that's kind of the future of what it's going to be, but it just kind of goes to show that kind of on the heels of a fantastic 2020 with 500,000 vehicles sold, Tesla is kind of investing in not only the V3 supercharger infrastructure, but also in kind of the experience that's kind of wrapped around it too, which is nice. Moving forward, I can't imagine that they're going to sell less than that this year, probably more, especially with the popularity of the Y and the 3 coming into 21, the Model S and X refresh, and then who knows, that flying roadster might take the helm a little bit. But either way, it's nice to know that the company is reinvesting in itself as it moves forward and stuff like that too. So it's great that the car is fun to drive, that it's exciting. There's comfort, the technology, the climate control, that kind of stuff. So you've got to be thinking to yourself, is it actually cheaper? Now I threw a video in there a bit back talking about the difference that I've seen between the gas vehicle and the electric, our Tesla anyway. We were paying about $2,000. This has nothing to do with regular maintenance or anything like that. We pay $115 a year for oil change, none of that stuff, just the regular gas fuel usage. We spend about $2,000 a year on gas. The electricity rate, we're paying about 13 cents a kilowatt hour. We spend about $30 a month, I guess, on electricity and charging. And then, so it's quite a bit cheaper than what we would be paying if we had another gas vehicle. So, that alone. Now, I mean, obviously the car was more expensive than our gas vehicle was, but we did have a gas vehicle that was equivalent in price to the Tesla. And, we were using about the same amount of gas, if not more. So, I can imagine it's going to be an apples to apples. But, thinking about that yourself, I mean, figure out your cost of electricity, figure out how much you're spending on gas, and they'll let you know. Because I can tell you right off the bat, it's going to be that much more fun to drive, much more comfortable, and everything like that. But I mean, it kind of jumps into, the what you get when you pick out the vehicle. Now, I mean, Tesla doesn't have, when you go your typical buying experience where you go there and you have to pay for, blinker fluid, you have to pay for all 4 tires that match, you have to, all the stuff that's added to the sticker price when you go and buy a car. Now, Tesla it's probably the most simple buying experience that I've ever seen. There's no haggling, there's no talking to a salesperson, anything like that. In fact, the people there aren't even called salespeople, they're product specialists, which was, a clever name for them anyway. It's all online, it's all on their site. And when you look at it, you have the choice between their 4 models essentially, because the Roadster isn't really available, and being the S, the E, the X, and the Y. And then you have, or the 3, the X and Y. You have within each choice, within each vehicle choice, you have the color of the vehicle on the outside. There's only 5 choices. You have either white or black on the inside. You have performance or regular. Long, they got rid of some of the standard range. For example, the Model Y is really just long range or long range performance. Outside of that, basically 2 choices of the kind of car. You can add full self-driving or not, which in reality, full self-driving isn't totally available yet, but you're paying for something that's going to be down the road. So you have 5, 6 choices. And then basically how you want to finance the vehicle, whether you're paying for cash or a loan. I mean, that's like any other vehicle, that part. So, they make it as easy as possible. They make it as, as seamless as possible, I guess. But what it does is it kind of leaves you open to accessories, aftermarket stuff, that kind of thing. And, it's no surprise if you're looking online, there's 1,001 different companies that make accessories to the vehicles. They're anything from changing the color of the lights to, interior wraps to, silly things like a steering wheel tray. I was going to touch on those just a little bit. I want to talk about some of the accessories that I've used that I really like that, are kind of important, almost like getting those plastic beads for your seat back in the 80s. So, a couple of accessories, floor mats, screen protector. I wouldn't go without a screen protector anyway. Center console wrap so it doesn't get fingerprints and scratches on it, that sort of thing. Even down to the steering wheel tray. It's actually really convenient when you put food on it, that kind of thing. But, PPF, ceramic coating, that sort of stuff too. So, I mean, looking at all the stuff that's in there, see what's in your budget, see what you think you might need, what you might want. Watching videos like this, reading some of the blog stuff, you'll find out what people actually use, what people actually needed, and kind of moving forward there too. So, looking back on it, again, 5,000 mile review, just to kind of give an idea of what I think about the vehicle. We love it. Love the vehicle, love the drive, love nearly everything about it, even the little things that we didn't like about it. Now, we got really lucky with our car too. So we didn't have a lot of panel gaps in it. We didn't have a lot of, paint defects or anything like that. And really it was something that just bothered me more than anything. But I get past it really quick, super fast for anything in the vehicle that I didn't love from the beginning. I certainly like now. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching the video. If you think about it, hit that like button. Think about subscribing if you haven't already. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and stay safe out there.